All right, so I was trying to look at this. I was trying to read up on the OPEC Plus stuff that just came out. Always trying to stay somewhat somewhat current. So decent movement. We have dollar strength, pretty much across the board, right? Um, Seen it nicely here, nicely here, nicely here, and just a little bit here, a little smidge. Pretty decent here, not bad. A little bit more of that pound strength rolling back in. And then obviously the pound yen down about 15. Really not much. It kind of had big movement and then kind of came right back again. So not, nothing super crazy there. Morning data, the CPI data kind of came in as expected. The flash CPI was lower. The core CPI, again, much lower than expected. I didn't actually think it would be that much lower. But again, we knew that they were having problems. So it's funny that they made some statements. Yeah. So again, not a bad spot. OPEC meetings today. That's what we were kind of waiting for. We wanted to see what was going to happen. We knew before that December was when they were going to revisit cuts. Right, we knew before that they, because of China and everything else. Now, what's interesting, and again, this just came out. It says, it's funny. 34 minutes ago, there was no recommendation, and now two sources have said, "Hey, listen, they came up with something. OPEC plus curbs come alongside extension of the Saudi Arabia cut." Right, so we already had cuts in for stabilization. Right, we knew Russia had some cuts in there. Again, not a big player. Saudi Arabia had some cuts in there, and that's what this piece is right here. And then they agreed to an additional 1 million barrels a day of extra supply cuts. Cuts, right? You may say, what? But I mean, the U.S. is doing great. China, the data has been pretty good. Yeah, but the price of oil has been not to where it is acceptable levels as far as they are concerned. And remember, at one point, it didn't really matter what OPEC Plus said, but we gave that right back to them. And now they have control over the oil market. So even though we're seeing, it's funny. I saw a meme yesterday. I guess the press secretary, she was like, "Yeah, we're paying less in less gas prices than we did last year." It's like Saudi Arabia's response was, "Oh yeah, watch this." So that's what they got. Um, we'll get more headlines that come out on this one, but that was a biggie that we were looking for. As such, I mean, you're seeing crude up to 79, one was back up to that 80 mark again. So not where we really want to be, right? Um, Again, they want their stability, right? They want their stability. They want to price at a specific level. Core PC price came in actually as expected. Again, it's moving a little bit. For the last hour and a half, we saw the dollar kind of weaken, which again, telltale sign it's going to be a strong based reaction, and it is. Unemployment claims came in a little bit less than expected, not by much though. 1,000, no big deal. It's not even a different color. Basically, comes right on. Um, Melissa's messaged me. She's like, "Hey, I found some money." I'm like, "You found money where?" We were discussing, um, funny, we were discussing Christmas presents this morning. And Jen's present is she wants a Barbie house, like a legit Barbie house. It's like 4 feet tall by 3 feet wide. Melissa's like, "Where are we going to put it? How are we going to get it home?" I was like, "I don't know, but how much is it going to cost us?" I was like, "A 4 foot Barbie house? I feel like the royalties on that alone are going to be insane." So now she's trying to justify it by saying, "Hey, I found some money." I'm like, nice. Anyway, we'll get pending home sales. We're going to get a Chicago PMI coming in a little bit higher. Obviously, still below 50. 50 is not a big a deal over here. You don't see it listed out here. But again, we want to see some decent data there. Tonight we'll get Chinese manufacturing data. As I said, it's expected to go higher, not quite over 50. Seeing it'll be interesting if it is over 50. We'll see. Yeah, we'll see if I don't know. Be interesting if OPEC Plus just did these cuts, but then yet Chinese manufacturing PMI goes actually up. So we will see. Um, could be pretty interesting. So we got another little one today. Obviously, it's always hard when there's an 8:30 and then a 9:45 because a lot of people will wait to see what this one is, and then followed right by a 10. So it's like bam, bam, bam. But for the most part, pound dollar biggest mover on the board percentage wise. Dollar yen really really close right there as well. Both dollar strength coming in. In the next 24 hours, we have Friday. And we got Pal speaking twice, right? You can see right here again, he's participating in a fireside chat, right? Again, I don't think there's going to get a ton out of there. And then obviously in a round table, maybe we get some more out of there. But it's Pal speaking twice, right? We are getting the ISM manufacturing prices, which is also showing a little bit of a creep up here, and then the manufacturing PMI as well as unemployment. So a lot of stuff early morning. It's not a non-farm payroll or anything like that. Not yet. That's going to be next week. But overall, pretty decent numbers. So let's go right over the chart. So there's kind of a lot going on. So VIX is obviously up. Again, it creeped back up yesterday. Again, when it's easy to be low when the markets are not really open. It did creep back up again. You're seeing the dollar up 0.64%. Really since European session. Oh, there's my smiley face. I don't want the rocket ship, but the rocket ship works. Oh man, I want icons, right? Yeah, there we go. Whew, I was concerned. There's basically. Oh, now it's the wrong color. Hold on, got to fix this. We talked about the hearts yesterday. Come on, man. You can, save the heart as red. Save the arrow. It should save the color based off. I feel like we're at a stage in technology. Save the color. This is last time. Yeah. So it basically been straight up. They weren't really fooled, and then you can see here's where the data came in this morning, the 8:30 time frame, and we even mentioned it. Hey, look to see what happens an hour and a half beforehand. Well, wasn't an hour and a half. It was 2 hours. 6:30 straight back down into an area of buyers. It did go like a little tiny bit lower. So again, this one may have been one of those ones that was like, oh God, it whipped me down real quick and then went exactly where I thought it was. And sometimes that's, again, you got to be cautious. Sometimes that does happen. But not necessarily a bad run up there. Pretty decent move, right? Coming from really 103 flat up to 103.50. Nice little 50-cent move. But just seems like yesterday we were sitting down here, we were talking about 102.50, and now we're back up to 103.50. Not much has changed. Indices, you're kind of seeing them a little bit split. Just briefly, just a little tiny bit in the red. YM up the most at 0.57, and then Russell up 0.22 or zero point 0.2. So again, that's not that much, and it looks like it's dropping pretty quickly and may turn red. And again, with the dollar surging, bad, right? Crude, big one, up 1.26%. Natural gas actually at 1.1 as well, up to 283, but we're still in that same the 280 to 285 range. It's not big. And then look at that, you're seeing gold and silver both down. Now, gold, again, it's down about $10. It's back down to the 230 mark. It still needs to be lower, in my opinion. I think it needs to be closer to 2,000. Silver, I do think it's high, but we have broken through the 25 mark, and you can see if it ends up again. It looks like it's trying to get positive, but the dollar index is actually surging as well. So it's kind of funny that everything is surging. And some of that may be the news that we're getting ready to get out right now. But overall, with the dollar surging back up again, you would say, hey, listen, why isn't something like silver, why isn't it all the way down here? Well, part of that is 25, right? I can't move it because that's where it is. 25 is a big psychological level. It's a quarter of 100, right? So you're saying that we're bouncing back up and forth, and we're basically more or less flat, and that's what it shows right now. Gold a little bit better. It is tearing back down. We talked yesterday about how there's this big area of sellers up here, and it did come up, and it just continued to deteriorate, and it hit this level again, and started the base through it, and hit through it again, and hit through it again. And overall, it looks like we're trying to get down to this 225, and that's where we mentioned yesterday that it really kind of belongs, right? I think it belongs lower, but overall, a lot of it's gonna, it's gonna depend on the dollar, and the dollar index right now is they're looking at that data, and it's like, yeah, everything's good, right? Question is, where will this surge end? Right, this is quite a nice little surge here. So, yeah, we'll see. Um, Looking at the Aussie. All right, so Aussie. This one we didn't get the same movement. Sorry. All right. So now I understand where the money is, but yeah. Um. Wow. Yeah, I think she can buy the Barbie house now. I'm good with that one. Actually, it's nice little chunk of change, but it's already spent. So we were talking about having this one kind of rally all the way down, just kind of just continuous drive from yesterday, and unfortunately, 11:30 yesterday, it kind of ran into a wall and just started to bounce back and forth. Now we did call for a pop off the news, and you can see if I bring this up to the news, it did. It popped. It almost came back and grabbed the 61.8. Actually, did it grab the 61.8? Oh, it did. Actually, this one wasn't. We'd have to draw it to there. So it did just by like a little tiny bit. And again, you may have wanted to pull the trigger on that one at about 2 o'clock, but we talked about it rising from that news data, and it did. It popped like it should have. Turned and rolled, and again, it's an okay roll. When this would have drawn down, I would have probably I didn't I was asleep unfortunately for this one. I actually hold on 1:30, 2 o'clock. Yeah, I was actually asleep. I woke up here at 2 o'clock at the end of this 2:30 time frame. Um, Kip is still coughing a ton. He was like in my face. I was like, oh god. And I spent 3 hours awake. Um, Nice push. We were looking for this to come down. Again, we talked about having profit target down here at 65.91, and we just hit that at 9 o'clock this morning. And you can see we based it in a little bit, but it's pushing lower. Now we said the hard part about this one is there's not a great level down here. Um, Not the best of levels. I mean, little hiccup here, little hiccup here, little hiccup here, little hiccup here. Um, I don't even want to find a long in there. We marked off this lower level, and it's okay. Like, it was a rally base rally, and a little bit of confirmation touch over here. This is just there's just a lot of junk in here. And if we look when the dates are on this one, again, this is obviously over Thanksgiving. There's a level here, but 1, 2, 3, 4. There's another little one here, 1, 2, 3. Um, could it turn here? I mean, this is an all right one. We marked it off yesterday. Again, being 10 o'clock with some news. Again, this is a big push. Let's see. Um, 80. Oh. Hmm. So the problem with this one is the problem with this one is since the European Open, it's moved 80 pips. Okay. If you guys, I don't know if you can see it or not, it may be too small. You look up here, the daily ATR is 60. So on a normal day, it should move 60 pips, right? In 24 hours. This in 6 hours, 7 hours, right? We've actually put in over a day, you know, 1 1/4, right? One and a third. Um, we should be due for some profit taking somewhere in here. There are levels here, but unfortunately, none of them are like super clean. Okay. Could they reverse off of this right here? Could they reverse off this level of basing right here? Absolutely 100%. Right. But there also could be a case made that no, 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 it's this one right here, or no, 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 it's down here. There's a couple different small levels. I mean, from the confirmation here down. Now, this is 18 pips. Am I taking a 18, a 30% stop loss on something like this? No, but we are in an area where I think a reversal is probably due at some point here. You're seeing it bounce back a little bit. And again, I don't want to be like tripping like, yep, I knew it was this one right here. There's just a lot down there. I'm not surprised that it's turning there. I'm not surprised. This is why we put the target here, but again, we left it black. Like, maybe with news we could reverse off of it, but it's driving back down. I think if anything, there was a decent trade set up here, right? Here's your 8:30 news. Right here's your news trade. It's unfortunately it's out now, but there's your news trade. Okay. Um, and remember yesterday what I said. Hour and a half before the news, look to see what happens. Here's the 8:30 window right here. You can see it right here. What did it do? It drove right back up into a level, a drop, a base with a kind of triangle that is formed in there and drop. And then what did it do? It rallied right up into there, grabbed it, and went. So that's really where your trade should have been this morning. Again, it hit our profit target, so we can take this off. We can take this off. Here, I'll draw it real fast. You can see it. There's really your 1 to 3 right there. There's your 1 to 3. So you're kind of done. Again, if you wanted to rally, run this one farther down, again, this is where your second profit target should have been. Um, could that be the low for the morning? Yeah, it could be. It could be, but ideally you were just in the trade. This should have been the way to get out of the trade, and it's not like a instantaneous reverse situation. Um, Hold on. Um, Yeah. I unfortunately I don't want to tell. I'm going to tell you guys. There's probably a reversal coming in. There's too much congestion right in here. I just don't want to tell you to do anything with it. Um, it's just not clean enough anywhere inside of there. So again, if this is the bottom point for today, I totally get it. Actually, that's be a fine area to do it. I think at that point, come back up and look for the same area here again. Why? It's now backstopped by the 50. It's in there. It only, I mean, again, it rallied up there and then just got slammed down. So I think that's a decent level. It's only about 7, 8 pips. So it's not like it's a huge level. I think that makes the most sense, right? Yeah, I think that's ideally that's where we go. This should have been you getting out, not getting in. So again, if it turns and rolls, hopefully somebody grabbed it. All right, here we go. We talked about this one pushing back down, and it did. It pulled back up, and we mentioned could it be the top one? Could it be the lower one? We were sitting right here, so we did not have the luxury of seeing this push. Let me move this out of the way. Just like we had here, this right here, this drop, the little triangle, we had it here, and we knew that was inside of the zone. So again, this should have been adjusted down to here and to there. There's your basing on the level. There's your alert trigger, and there. 3 is right there, right? There's your 1 to 3 trade. And where did we say the profit target was going to be? It's funny, I actually drew it straight down. 97.30. And you can see it here. Boom, 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 boom. Made a nice little bottom. And now it rallied back up. So we're kind of where we were yesterday. That's where we were drawing this yesterday, this 9:30 time frame, this 9:30, 10 o'clock. We're right there, but it is surging higher. So again, this is probably more the yen, not necessarily the Aussie. Let's see. Is gold rallying? No, gold's actually going, and gold's coming up a little bit, right? Where will this one come back to? Hmm. See, this one is running into the same problem. A lot of wicks up and down, a lot of junk. Let's see where will we get something easy in here. 50. There's 10. Hmm. Profit target off. Tag that. Tag this. We take that one off. I don't need it right now. We can pull that alert off now. Don't need the alert. Keep the sucker clean. So this is obviously an emotional surge for what we're seeing right now. We are about 12 pips away. We're a little bit early for a 10:30 reversal, but again, with this kind of surging up from the US kind of dollar mark time or time frame, the US kind of market coming online, there's a potential reversal in here. All right. I think there's a potential reversal coming in here. Again, a 50% retracement level, big surge up from a US session open. Again, very emotional move on that one. I'd like to kind of see it. Again, it may be a quick hit on this one, unfortunately. I don't like the formation in the zone, but it did have two good responses off. And now that it's got this big push down, it is a 50. So it is a reversal level. And again, the fact that it's timing with 10:30, it could absolutely could be the high today. Do we have news at 10:30? Yeah, look at the Chicago PMI. Blew that one out. Again, pending home sales shouldn't move that much. Yeah, look at that. Business activity moves into expansion territory the first time. Why? Because it went above the 50. So, and what's interesting about that? OPEC just said, you know what, we're doing more cuts, but again, we're in expansion right here. Man, OPEC is like, you're not our friend. We're sticking it to you. So yeah, I think we will get a reversal again. A lot of this is the yen play coming in. Um, hmm, not a bad spot. Not a bad spot. We'll draw it there. I'd like to see a little confirmation, but this may be one of those ones you just pull the trigger and let it roll. Again, it's not even moving back. It's basically staying in the same territory. So again, nice little setup. All right, so here you go. Euro dollar. What we talk about? Look to see what happens an hour and a half beforehand. What did it do? 2 hours beforehand. Sorry, this one went 1 hour, 2 hours went straight up, and then when the news came out, what happened? Boing! Right back to the downside. Now, here's the problem with this one. Again, profit target yesterday, we talked about getting short this one, ending up at 109.36. And it's funny, we're at 109.07 right now. So a little bit lower, right? So I'm off. But profit target first. You can see there's a base back in there. We can remove it. Let's see. Did that hit the 78? It didn't, but we're going to remove it anyway. It got really close. Let's take this from top to bottom. It's not in a good spot. Would that have been there? Yeah. See, unfortunately, this is one of those great examples. Had you been a fib trader, could you have gotten short this one? No, it was sitting all the way up here. So it wasn't a 23.6. There wasn't a level. There was kind of an old level sitting right here. Um, again, this is kind of like one of those like little Harry Potterish things. That's the only way you would have been able to take this one short. But we were looking for a way to get short. The only thing I hesitate on this one, right? Yeah, there's a level here. Yeah, this is Harry Potter. We broke it. We kind of based back and forth. We broke it and came back, but there wasn't any true level of basing in there. It did rally up, so we were looking for a short, but this is almost one of those cases. Did you create it inside of your head? Did you look back and what's it called, like a confirmation bias or something like that? The reason it worked is because you could find something. It is a level, and again, there was strong movement off of it, and there was basing. It just wasn't a good one. So yes, why it turned there, I totally understand why it did. It's that old group of buyers became the sellers, and again, we saw the indecision right here where we had the wick come down, the wick come back up, and it split it right down the middle. So it is kind of a wick over wick. Um, but I think the biggest telltale sign that this was going to be a short this morning was 30 minutes straight up, 30 minutes straight up, 30 minutes straight up, 30 minutes straight up. News came out, boom, straight down. So again, we kind of called that one, and we knew that we had a confirmation over here. Guess what it ran into? There we go. So at this point, um, probably the same thing that we saw in the Aussie. We're probably going to see a bit of reversal in this one. From the European Open here, we got 90 pips worth of movement. It's got a 70 pip daily ATR. So we are kind of get a little bit overextended. Um, yeah, there's probably a reversal coming in this one too. But again, do we want to pull the trigger? Nah, it's a profit target. That's where we are right now. God, none of them are even lining up great. I think this one's probably going to go higher today. I don't know that we're going to be sustained much more. I'm really curious if that Chicago manufacturing PMI was that high. Will the ISN manufacturing also break 50? Getting more OPEC news now too. Now they're going into January. It just shows you OPEC doesn't care. US is like, yep, we're betting expansion mode. We need that oil. And like, you know what? We're gonna cut it extra long. Yeah, making friends around the world. So yeah, I would expect this probably to tear back over in here again. It's a lot of movement. It's beyond what it should do in a day at this point. So we tend to see profit taking and a roll back. I think you got to watch out for that one. Not surprised if it kind of comes back up and we end up around this. Again, if we end up somewhere over in here, 109.30, 109.20, wouldn't be surprised. If we do continue to punch down, I think again you can see we did drive a little bit deeper in that zone. Unfortunately, right behind it, it is backstopped by another zone. So it's going to take a lot of momentum and a lot of force to kind of get through that today. It could do it tomorrow. The data was good today, but I don't know if it's good enough to where we're going to be able to drive over 1 day's worth of movement and smash through two zones. That may just be a little bit much, but overall, again, nice little trade setup in that one. Again, you had this one again. You had to take a little bit additional risk, unfortunately, but that's what it is. Sometimes it's trading. You got to do that. Euro pound. You can see yesterday we were sitting right here, and we drew two levels and said, "Hey, listen, we got two here." And Up, down, up, down, up, down. We smashed it. We went to the lower one. We came back up and we used the top one to base. We came down, grabbed it again, came back up and grabbed that same level because we needed more help. It drove down again. And yesterday we marked this one off right down here, the overall target of 86.20. And it got hit this morning at the European Open. And then the European Open rallied us and put us right back into the same zone again. So, yeah, this is the Euro Pound. Welcome to it. It's a lot of fun. Again, we're using this one more as a proxy. It looks like it was great movement. You're like, oh my God, that's a really big move, right? Yeah, it's 20 pips. And now we're back into the same range. Overall, again, the target was hit on this one of where we expected it to be today. It did pull back again. Overall, with what we saw with the data, it was weaker. There are sellers in here, but we're running the same problem. Are we going to use a zone like this? Absolutely not. Extremely sloppy. Yeah, I mean, I would say my opinion is, yeah, I think it goes down. I mean, it's obviously the emotional response down. You had the parabolic move right back up again. It did bounce off a zone that we talked about as far as where our target was expected to be. Are we going to change trajectory? Are we going to start smashing through it again? I mean, they're going to run into a lot of the same problems. But I do think that this one probably continues to go to the downside today. So again, in your thinking between euro pound, pound dollar, I'm sorry, euro dollar, pound dollar. Again, I would say probably pound is a little bit stronger than the euro at this point. I know it's rallied up right now, but again, that was from a European move up after news came out, and there is a big area of sellers plus a 23 sitting in here. So yeah, a little bit more bearish thinking on that one. Euro. So it looks like yesterday morning we ended up kind of punching through. We talked about getting this one down into the 106.43 level. It hit it last night at 5 o'clock, and then you can see it spent some time there. It kind of was like, and then this morning news came out and they dropped down and grabbed that lower level. So we were talking about actually getting something off of that. Make sure I got this one right. There's your zone right there. Yeah. So this one, and again, I'm fully willing to admit, it did actually go past the zone just by a little bit. So depending on, we had the bottom side of this at 62, right? It went to 160.59.7. So by about 2 pips lower. It's got a 1.6 pip spread. So it's one of those ones that's like, it's there. Had you gotten long from that level, if you didn't get stopped out, it was a great move. It's a great move, right? It's up 109 pips from that level. Yeah, we talked about this target. That is out because it's black. So you may or may not have gotten stopped out on this one. Again, it was a decent level. It wasn't the extreme bottom. We knew that we had a lot in there, right? We talked about how there's this level here. We knew that we had, again, here, let's pull this all the way back here just so you can see it. We knew that we had a little bit below it too, right? We were trying to snipe this when maybe we should have been trying to snipe this one here, this confirmation here. And it's kind of both, but we were trying to be a little bit more aggressive on there. So again, you may have gotten stopped out by a little bit. Maybe you drew it a little bit lower. Maybe you wanted a little bit of a buffer in there. And if you did, it was an awesome trade. Big mover, again, grabbing 100 pips by in 6 hours. That's a big move. That's a big move. So overall, where we are with it right now, we are approaching the 50%. It's already been here twice. Did spend a little bit of time there. I'm going to put this one as a yellow. And the reason why I put it as a yellow is because we've been here for a while. We've been here before. It's not a fresh. It is a new fresh 50 now that we pushed all the way down. It hit it at like 6, 7 o'clock in the morning, but this is the third hit. So third hit is kind of like, do we love it? The fact that it chopped in here twice before finally leaving. Again, I would say it's another minus point for me. But because we've been surging up since the European Open, and again, we're 109 pips right now. It's got a daily ATR of 108. It's moved an entire day's worth of movement in 6 hours, 7 hours, right? So we are at the spot where people that were long from this zone that actually got into the trade, they're going to take their profit. They're going to get out. Ideally, the smart place to get out of this one will be sitting right here. Again, you don't want to start messing with those candles in there. There's the flat level right there. So we're getting pretty close. Plus, it's 10:30. So if you are long, you may want to start thinking about getting out of this one, tearing yourself out of it, trailing really, really close, or maybe even setting an order up here to just take yourself out of it. I think there is a reversal probably coming in up here. Is it great? European market closes in 2 hours. I don't think the yen is going to be able to continue to drive for the rest of the day. So it's there. Again, if you grab that level down below, you did an awesome job today. It's well past its 1 to 3 at this point. Again, profit target hit, re-entry down lower. And again, you're right. You're about to take profit if you're still in it. Unfortunately, sometimes that happens. We got aggressive. Typically, a level on top of a level, we were trying to be a little bit more aggressive. If you Buffered a little bit, you would have been fine on this one. If you hit it and then you were waiting for it to leave the top of that zone, you also would have been fine, right? A number 3 entry on that one, or a number 2 entry would have been fine either way. Actually, if you dropped it down, no, you didn't even have the option there. Yeah, your confirmation of the roll on this one, if you would have used the 5 minute, um, you had a green, a red that didn't go back, and then a green surge above. You maybe could have pulled the trigger on that one. If you did, you would have had the stop loss be there, right? You would have survived. Or again, if you would have used that one didn't go as low. It was close, but it didn't go as low. Not great. I would say that this green red green change it to a different color. That green red ring confirmation is much better that we have reversed from a level, right? Technically, that is one right there as well. And again, using the bottom of that at that point would have been right there, which is where again, you would have been fine. So had you dropped it down and used the confirmation, you would have been okay from that level. So again, maybe some of you guys got into it. Again, if you had set and forget that one, went to sleep, you probably would have got stopped. Unfortunately. So it happens. But yeah, I think this one's probably ready to turn and roll. Won't be surprised anywhere in here. Like I said, we're starting to run out of steam right now already on the 30-minute, and you're seeing we're right at that 10:30 mark. Pound dollar. All right, so pound dollars. I missed this one. It was close. I drew it down to 8. I should have drawn it to 8:30, not 8 o'clock. I think I was saying if we got down there in time. But we didn't. We actually drove up. The hour and a half, 2 hours beforehand, we drove right back up again. Magically, it looks just like the other trade, right there. Again, just kind of that simple. We talked about down and up. I talked about it here. It actually went a bit lower. It was there, but that's what we talked about. We were like, okay, give us that push down, and we said it was going to bounce off here, and it did. That's right what happened right here. So I missed it by a little tiny bit. Had I drawn it to 8:30, I would have been right on the 8:30 candle. And now profit target 1 and profit target 2 is hit. We drew both those yesterday when we were sitting. Where were we at? Wednesday we were sitting right here. Right, we were sitting right Wednesday at 10:30. We're sitting right here. So all we did is we came back up, we grabbed it, we actually drew it again. Nice mover. And did we tag this on the bottom side? Yeah, it's the same buyers. So all of the profit targets are out. We want that one now. Oh, I hear some coughing. Oh, Mr. Buds. Here, I got some juice for you. Come here. I got some juice. He's looking for his mom. Let's see. Kind of the same thing on this one. Here's the European Open straight down. It's 106 pips. It's got an 88 daily ATR. Hello, buds. Here we go. Here, got your orange juice. Here. Come here. Give me 1 second to get him situated. Come here. Oh, there we go. Yeah, I know. You're an addict. You woke up and the first thing you do is grab your tablet. Thank God it has power. It's only got 2%, so this ain't gonna last long. There we go. Here, get some juice. Get some juice. There we go. What are you watching here? I don't know what this is. Ping pong? Okay. Won't be surprised if this runs back up again. Would I be interested in taking a short from here? Probably not. It did drive higher. Don't expect many more people there. There's a level of basing up top. So unfortunately, this one was again the same type of news trade. It drove up before news. News came out and drove it completely in the opposite direction. So looks more like that. So again, it's out. It hit the profit targets we were looking for. Both of them got tagged from yesterday. At this point, it probably needs to push up a little bit. I think the big thing we're looking for is this and this, right? Particularly this manufacturing. I feel like this manufacturing, now that Chicago like blew it out of the way, it wasn't 50, it was 55. If this is a big miss, I think, again, we can have some major movement. So kind of the same thing, see what happens from, I'll do like 6, right? I think this window from there to there, I think that's I think that's what we're looking for this one tomorrow. I think this actually will be a pretty decent trade tomorrow. Again, it could be a euro dollar, could be a pound dollar, but depending on the euro pound and what we see. Pound yen. Taking off. It's the yen. We mentioned we didn't really have a great trade setup in this one. We knew that we had kind of this entire area. We talked about it yesterday. It's like, oh God, it's just too big. We can't draw it. The clean isn't until down here. And it did. It came down to right about here on this candle. So it turned in reverse. You can see what it did on the top side. It based again. So We can clear some of that off, thankfully. Now we're back up at 50%. There's some sellers here. There's also some sellers right above it. So, if anything, I think we look for that one to rally up. From the European Open this morning, we're 128. It's got a 132 ATR, so it's kind of there. I don't know. Big emotional push up. There'll be some profit taking coming in this one, but we still got plenty of room before there's a decent level. So I'd be a lot more cautious of this one. I think there's better opportunities out there. So good thing is though, we do have another bottom, and again, every time the fact that this one went down to this level means that all this has been cleared out now, right? All that is cleared from. Let's see, I'll do it on the side to there. That's all the selling we got left before we push all the way down. So again, nice push, but at this point, I think we're looking for targets down to this level. I don't think this has the ability to hold much longer. So again, not bad. We got a top and a bottom now, a top, a bottom, and entry here, going back into the top 33% of the curve, the 187.89. Dollar CAD. So dollar CAD was really close. So we talked about this yesterday, being like, hey, listen, if we can get here, all good trades, right? It drove up, but unfortunately yesterday at 12, it hit that level at 12. And we said, hey, if it enters early. I mean, 10:30, 12, 10, actually, guess what? 10 it missed, 11 missed, 12, 11:30 is actually when it hit and drove back down again. And then spent the time driving up. Now, let's remove this one out, or I'll just back it off a little bit. Hour and a half, what happened before news? Down, flat, down, news, straight back up again. So, again, just shows you, look to see what happens 2 hours beforehand. Nice little push up, and then immediately turn and roll back to the downside. Again, is there massive levels of weakness in the dollar? No. Why is this taking off? Why has there been this much movement? 70 pips when it has a 75 pip ATR. Well, it's Canada, right? Why does it matter for Canada? Oil. Oil's up at 79. Now it is pulling back. It is 79.21. But all that OPEC data, again, that's helping the CAD. It's driving it. It's giving it a lot of power, right? Why? Exports. They're not OPEC, but they definitely send some oil out. Now with this surging down, we do have a Harry Potter lower break below 135.26. It would be a big emotional response if it does come down. I won't be surprised if it actually does bounce, and I don't think this probably triggers today. It's too big of a push, too fast, right back down again. Probably a reversal coming in on this one. If anything, maybe we can get this. Maybe if we start basing in here, it'll run out of steam and we'll start doing the chop back and forth. And then we can finally push down and take it. Maybe something along those lines. Uh-oh, it's out of power. I told you, it was only 2%. It wasn't going to last long. Here, use my phone. Use Daddy's phone. Wow, normally, when it's on 1%, it lasts for hours. Poor kid. One sec, guys. Let me just do my phone. My YouTube history is awesome. I have all the things that I watch, and then there's Lifty and Scoop. So the search algorithm is just totally confused. It's like, what do you want to watch? So maybe we get something along those lines. Maybe those. Again, there's a base down here. Is there going to be a huge shift? I don't feel like there is. Again, we drove up, we got a little spike, and then again, it ran into the sellers in here. So, we had marked it off. I still like the top two levels, so we can keep those on. We can remove the hearts now. Overall, I think we're fine. I don't think there's much else to do on this one. Let's clean it up a little bit, though. Get those sellers out there. Yeah, it's my little walrus, if you can hear him. Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, if we can get the 135, that would be decent. But it's got to, like I said, it's got to chunk through this piece. Then there's another level right below it, so it's one level here, and we need continued dollar weakness. And again, I think, yeah, it's gonna be hard. We got here. Dollar Swiss did the same thing at 8:30. It drove it down, just in time to pop. Not at a good level though. We were looking for it to pop all the way up for weakness. We didn't get it. It kind of stayed. Unfortunately, they loaded it up. They knew where to go with it, right? They loaded it up and then went higher. So this one probably pulls back down again. Again, a lot of basing down low. Dollar Swiss. Again, I'm only gonna look at this when we get back over here. I think tomorrow, look for it. See if we can get the same type of movement. Right now, again, are we taking the short? No. It would have looked great. You'd have been real happy if you were a 23 person. And then it spiked all the way up again and stopped you out. So not a great fib. trade this morning either on the dollar Swiss, which is not a good level in here. Nothing clean. Dollar yen popping up. Now, this one, very emotional response. Okay. So, yes, this is red, but what did we have before news? We knew the news was coming in right here. We were kind of hoping we'd be up there for news, but we didn't. And what did it do? 2 hours beforehand, red, 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 red. We loaded it up. News came out, skyrocket. So again, nice move, kind of a parabolic move, right? 133, it's got a 111 ATR. I would say at this point, drop it down to a lower time frame. Look for a red, green, red reversal. We're up there. Again, this should have actually been a target with the news load up, right? Once we had this pullback, this all of a sudden did not become an entry. This became your exit on your target. And that's what you would have got at 9 o'clock today. So great news trade. Again, load, 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 load. The market knew, and boom, right up to that level. Maybe it goes a little bit higher. Maybe it pushes up into the 61.8, right? And we've marked that one off. Maybe we pulled the trigger if it's able to go there. I feel like it's going to probably reverse before then, but who knows? Let's see how much. It's like 30 pips. It's got a 51 pip 4-hour ATR. Yeah, see, pending home sales was not as bad. Lovely. Effective January 2024, Brazil will join OPEC Plus. Yeah. Does Brazil like us or no? I feel like the answer is no on that one. I feel like Brazil's in that. Doesn't Brazil use like Bitcoin as their currency now? I feel like they had some major stuff. I don't follow a lot of South American countries, but I don't think I don't think they're like huge U.S. supporters. I always get Brazil and Argentina's politics confused. Right? But I feel like Brazil doesn't love us, so not necessarily a great addition to OPEC Plus. So, yeah, maybe I'm confusing Brazil and Argentina. Maybe. Forget, but yeah, I don't know that that's. I don't know. Everyone versus the world. Yeah, so I think there's probably a reversal up there. It's not a bad level. Looking at this one, you got what? 18 pips. A little bit big, but this one moves. This one moves. Right. And again, with all the movement today, I'd expect this one to turn and roll. Let's look at this crude thing here. We looked at this one already. We talked about this being a level. Another hit. And again, we were sitting here yesterday. We hit it, and we knew it was based, and we're like, yeah, it's not going to hold. And it didn't. It pulled back. Once it based here, it loaded up. It came back down, grabbed that, and then boom, you can see, our Harry Potter call, right? Go through, base, pull back, and go, right? Nice coughing buds. You can put it here. You can put it here. It doesn't matter where you put it. Yeah. We talked about the next reversal point at 79.78. Got front run a little bit. You're thinking of Argentina. I could be. Ernest, I could be. I don't know that Brazil loves us, but yeah, maybe it's Argentina, the one that was using Bitcoin. Again, they were looking to replace, the dollar because they went for their currency settlements. They did not want to use the dollar. They're part of the BRICS, right? The anti-dollar movement. But again, just another country, right? It's just another country that's like, nah, we don't want to use the dollar anymore. We're done. Don't need it. We're over it. It's going to go great for us in the long term. So at least we have a level coming up. So there's potentially selling coming in. It's already pushed back twice again. And it's close to that 80 mark. Hopefully we don't get to the 80. All the news today is it's doing its best to drive that direction. Question is, can we get out all these emotional responses and we can get some type of reversal? Big question is, will ISM manufacturing tomorrow drive this up or drive this down? Some of this is the Chicago PMI. A lot of this is OPEC. I don't know that OPEC, obviously they're still talking because this came out 4 minutes ago. I don't think OPEC has many more comments. This is going to be, man, I hate to say this. I think a lot of this is going to come down to Chinese data tonight. And again, you guys know my opinion. I don't really trust the Chinese data. I don't believe that it's true data. Again, I think they manipulate it a little bit for their own benefit, more so than other people do. But if this goes above 50, here's the problem. If this goes above 50, showing that there's increased demand and there's expansion, which we have seen expansion data come out of China, is this going to hold at 80? Right? It's a decent level, and you can see it. Sellers are pushing before it even gets there. Oof. Oof. Yeah, I mean, right now, I think there's no reason not to be long oil right now. We even said that the amount of hits on this level yesterday was too many. Oh, not that one. Yeah, buds, right? Let's see. We can take this up. Actually, with the reversal there, I'm gonna draw from here. Let's see. Hmm, Yeah, it's actually not a bad run. That actually would have survived. I would have been dependent on your broker, but yeah, this pull back down to the 23, it actually grabbed the demand zone down there. Hey, Kip, that's why we cannot kick Daddy's phone when it's in record mode. It doesn't work that well. Just sit here. That'll be done in a couple minutes. Um, yeah, I don't think get in front of oil. I think if we can get a reversal up here, I think we're good. Natural gas. There we go. So natural gas driving down a little bit. We're basically in the same channel yesterday. We were sitting where we at Wednesday yesterday. Wednesday we're here. We had a little bit of a pop up, and all we did was, I think we talked about this. We drove up, and then 9:30 happened. We drove right back down. We hit that 3 o'clock window. We literally did nothing. We just base. European market. We took a little bit of a pop up, and then base, and we're pulling right back down to the same level. So again, I don't think much in here. I mean, until we get up to 288, I don't think we have a clear selling point. There is obviously the piece down here that from where the change happened, the 273. It's 44 out today, which is awesome. It's been like yesterday morning, it was like 25. So being back at 44 degrees, we should see this continue to kind of grind down a little bit lower. So we'll see. What is it? Natural gas prices up 1% on output drop ahead of weekly storage report. Yeah, we're gonna get that storage report in a little bit. So maybe we get a move. But again, being that it's getting warmer again, that'll help. I will say I did watch a program yesterday about La Nina and El Nino, or what is it? El La Nin La Nina and El Nino and El Nino, right? We've had the La for the last 2 years, and we have the El this year, so it's going to be a different year. So, but the way the forecast looked like, it looks like it's going to be wet, not necessarily snow, just like a wet. I'm like, oh, that's great. That means we'll have ice every morning. So that's you gotta love that. Um, so yeah, so I would expect this to slowly grind down. I don't think it's going to be fast. I don't think this is not going to again. OPEC Plus has absolutely zero to do with natural gas. Thankfully, I mean, I guess Russia does, but at this point, the U.S. has so much output in natural gas, they're just not. It's not going to affect us. Gold. Again, we talked about this earlier when we mentioned selling up here. We're going to see it grind down. You can see a lot of wicks down, and it's picking up more, picking up more, picking up more, picking up more. But the highs, right? Um, you could say that we're in kind of a channel. I mean, I guess it kind of followed this, right? Impulse, correction, impulse. It's kind of moving, right? We know that this 2025 area is going to be an area that's going to give us a little bit of resistance in there. Again, it was a strong rally, a correction, and rally back again. If these two, and again with this shape here and here, that typically tends to mean that there's people in there. So, I think it probably continues to grind down today. Again, the expansion data is good for the dollar. The home sales, again, not a huge thing, but it does kind of help a little bit. I don't, with the comments we saw from the Fed yesterday, I don't think there's going to be a raise. I think there should be some really difficult questions asked. Again, I 100% believe there are some politics influencing. And again, there is politics beginning of this administration. I feel like there's even more now influencing the Fed. It's nice to say that they're completely independent. Um, to say that we're a year in, it's going to take 2 more years for us. A lot can happen in 2 years, right? A lot in the cycle of business can happen in 2 years. Yeah, we're seeing a little bit of a slowdown, but I mean, their GDP is going up, earnings are not bad. We don't have the supply chain issues. Um, Unemployment, the labor market, yeah, it's slowing down, but it's where it should be. Um, Things aren't bad, and it's going to take 2 years. Come on, come on. I think there's some politics involved. They don't want to put the market into a recession before a presidential election. Is I think what the problem is. I think they're looking at that. There's nothing you can tell me that's going to change my opinion on it. If we are still too high, and they're saying that we're still not going to be target at the end of next year, that it's going to take 2 years to get back to target, and then we can change. God knows what's going to happen in 2 years, right? I think that's too much. So I think there's too much politics involved. So I think this one probably continues to grind a little bit lower. Silver, again, what are we doing? We're playing with 25. Look at all the wicks. Where does it want to go? A lot of people don't know, right? It's a lot of wicks back and forth. They're just whipping people back and forth, but we're still in the same proximity. Again, there's your high, there's your low. With silver, you can see silver's up a little bit. But again, what should happen? Silver should be double what gold is. That shows us that it's a normal functioning day. Right now, gold is down 0.5%, silver's up 1/3% and giving us wicks back and forth. And it looks like it wants to try to push higher. So again, not a rational day. It's literally just kind of whipping retail traders back and forth. But 25 is the big kind of player here. And overall, I do think gold is a little bit too high. I think gold needs to get down to that 25 mark. If gold can get to 2025 and this is at 25 flat, I think that's a good um, equilibrium between the two. But I think right now, again, I think gold's too high. Silver, obviously 25 is a big deal. I think it should actually be down here. That's where it deserves to be. But again, 25 is such a big thing. If it's above or below, people are buying and selling. And you can see every time it goes over, it whips back and then whips back and then whips back and whips back and then goes up and down, up and down, up and down. It's just, again, a lot of whip back and forth for the speculators out there in this market. But if the Chinese data is good tonight, I would expect this actually to surge back up. And I won't be surprised if we're sitting up here at the 25.35 tomorrow. Okay. As far as opening print goes, just FYI, opening print's always difficult when you have something like this at 8:30 and then 9:45 people are looking at this one. Always a little bit more difficult. And really today we had the 8:30 there. We had OPEC speaking at the exact same time and all the data coming out right at 9:30 and then 9:45 data. It's always, again, this is one of those days where you're like, a lot going on. I can use my technicals, but overall there's a lot going on that could be unexplained for it, especially with something like OPEC, right? That's always kind of weird. So just keep that in mind, right? VIX wise, you can see we're up. Dollar, again, pulling back. It's profit taking is what this is. But looking at the ES, drop it down to a 15-minute, you can see, right? You can see we're sitting over here at 9:30, right? We had pushed down, and you could say, hey, listen, there's an overnight. So, whoops, I don't like it when it's purple, but let's change this back to yellow. You could say, hey, listen, here was a 3:30, right? Here was a 3:45 confirmation. This is a long. We were sitting here at 9:30, right? Here's where it opened. We were a little bit too far away for that to pop down. With 9:45 data as well, and OPEC talking, it's kind of, I think the risk level is a little bit high. If we were sitting in the zone, that would be one thing, but we were sitting up here. Since it got the data at 8:40 or 8:30, we have been pushing straight down. It kind of loaded up. You can kind of say, well, wait, there's a 3:45 right here. Yeah, but the news today was really what would have bugged me. This is not the best of levels. If there was, again, if we were sitting right here, right? If there was no news at 8:45, OPEC was not talking, right? And we were sitting right here at this 9:15 and 9:30 open, yeah, I would say it's not a bad long. It would not have been a bad long. The problem is that we had two other news releases at that time. And it's okay. It's an all right level. It wasn't kind of, you know, I would say that this is where really we wanted the level. This level form would have been better than this one. I say, yeah, cabbage. Um, so again, take it for what it's worth. Could you have made a comment or a stance? Yep, I'm going long right here. You could have. This was a better level here than this one was. Um, and with news in 15 minutes, it's also a little bit riskier, right? We're waiting to play the news after the fact with opening prints, not the other way around. So, not really the best. You can see it's just really chopping back and forth. NQ also had kind of a similar level. It didn't really confirm. Again, it was 3:45, but this was a level from yesterday at 2:30, so not really an overnight. This one really didn't do it. And then starting from 8:30, the data, it was just negative, 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 9:15, and it's sitting right here, and it's kind of at that level. But we mentioned that we drew this level yesterday. This one's been here for a while. That's kind of what we went down and hit, and then kind of rallied off of it. So I haven't touched this one. This is one that we've had on here forever. That's kind of where I think you would have been. Again, it's a 10 o'clock time frame, maybe a little bit more news. That was better. So for opening print on this one today, I mean, again, 9:30 being here, we were already pretty deep in that zone. Not really the best. And again, this wasn't an overnight level. This was a 2:30 level yesterday. And then we really didn't even touch it. We had to kind of advance it even more to get up there. Not really your ideal setup on that one, particularly because we were straight down. So not really the best. YM, kind of the same thing. You're like, wait, everything else was down. What the heck is YM doing? Again, it's manufacturing data. Here's your 9:30 move. Now this one, kind of the same thing. Now this one, the 8:30 move loaded it up. There was a level there, and you could say, well, wait, there's a base right there, and there's a touch right there. Yeah, you could say that. You could also say that, hey, listen, there's more basing right here, right? Impulse, correction, impulse, move. We're hitting it at the open at 9:30. You could. This was the cleanest of all four of them as far as where you could have entered. Wasn't necessarily a confirmed level, but again, in a continuation, it did push down before the open, right? If you're going to get long, put it on sale first. It did put itself on sale back to a level of basing and then continued that push higher. And you can see that was the turning point right at 9:30 this morning. So this is the cleanest of all of them, not necessarily the rules of opening print, but with that said, again, a pretty big surge, right? A pretty big surge higher. All right. Um, so yeah, this was the best of the opening print ones, but not a true opening print, just a continuation trade. All right. Russell, yeah, remember I said that. So Russell, here's your 9:30 candle. Right, it's not hitting anything. There's small zone over here. I mean, I guess you could have drawn this. We marked this level off yesterday. We were like, oh, look at this right here. Whoops. Right, there's that level right there. You could say, there's your confirmation coming in. It's okay. That's what it hit off of. Do I love this one? I'd love to tell you, like, oh my god, I told you so. Snipe that sucker. No, YM was the best looking one. Yes, at 9:30 we hit this level from yesterday. It was confirmed, but it was from yesterday morning at 10:45. Ideally, we want something in the overnight. I did go to the downside and grab it, and we just went back and forth. This is a really, really ugly chart. Am I surprised it turned there? No. There's your two confirmations of that. Drop, base, drop. Little sawtooth right there that we like. Confirmation, confirmation. And then again, if you entered it 8:45, great. If you entered it at 9:30, great. You were good either way. It did go. It's 1 to 3. I think there was a lot of risk in the Russell with all the news this morning with everything we had. Is this hindsight? Not really, because we talked about it yesterday. But of all of them, the only ones that I would have wanted you guys to take, if any of them, and again with the news today, a little bit riskier, would have been YM. Okay, and again, YM was a decent trade setup off that level. Um, again, Russell, had you taken the short, you were fine. I just think this is too this again. There's risk. Maybe some people did. I just don't think this is. If all of them, YM would have been the only trade for me. I did not trade them this morning. So that's it for today. Looks like oil pulling back a little bit, which is good. Again, all the data is out for oil, so we're not going to be able to get much more out of it. I mean, I'm pretty sure OPEC's done talking. Oh, shut up. Yeah. Not losing much sleep over market forecaster cuts. Yeah, the fact that he's even saying cuts, he just goes into the idiot bucket, right? It just goes into the idiot bucket. Like, I don't think we raise, but like they've said before. Oh, here you go. I'm not thinking about rate cuts at all right now. There you go. See, I like Daly a lot, but Daly's out. Um, oh no, wait. Daly's in. It's Harker that is retiring, I believe. Yeah, new favorite, new favorite. Again, I'm not. We're not at target. Why would we think about cutting? Our economy's not dying, right? We should take our time now. Religion, act prudently, absolutely. Oh look, we need to be prepared to either raise rates again if necessary, or say tightening policy is complete if that's appropriate. I'm telling you, money, money. New favorite Fed person. Only person I trust at this point on the Fed. So yeah, that's what we got today. So tomorrow again, unemployment changes. I'm really curious if they're going to adjust this number. Maybe they adjust this up to like 48.5, 48.9. Really curious if this one's going to breach the 50 after that Chicago number today. So yeah, there could be some craziness. And again, hopefully additional cuts are due to last for first quarter. And OPEC is still coming out with the headlines. Um, yeah, Biden's going to be pissed. I bet you Biden says something today. Yeah, Biden. I bet you today or tomorrow. I bet you Biden or somebody in the White House makes some kind of comment. Maybe Yellen does. Um, make some type of comments about OPEC, right? And it'll come into that we need protect freedom. You know that keeping oil high, we're helping Russia and we're helping terrorists. They're going to throw it into there. But ideally, what it's coming back to is that they want price stabilization, just like we want price stabilization. Um, but yeah, we're gonna get a headline. We're gonna get a headline. So, all right, let's go do the drawing. We got 5 in. Will, good seeing you back. We haven't seen you this week, Will. Little bit of a turkey hangover there, Will. We've been looking out for you. I'm gonna give this till 4. And Will, Debbie was on a barn burner. She had 2 yesterday, and
Oh,
Ernest kinda snuck in, slammed in 10. Debbie didn't play it right. Ernest stole it from her. Stole it from her in this time of giving and thanks. Stole it from her. She was at 2. She was about to grab it. All right, here we go. 5,
mm,
4, 3, 2, 1, right on 4. Here we go. All right. Winner of today's drawing is Neuro. Neuro took it with 6. Neuro, I'm telling you, not playing the 10 seems to be working for you, Neuro. Threes and sixes. You did a 4 the other day. Not bad. All right, let's go leaderboard. Let's give Neuro his 25 pip chips. There we go. All right, there we go. Neuro takes it. All right, so I'll see you guys tomorrow morning, 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. Like I said, there's a lot going on right now. Markets are starting to flatten out. Look at this. Pound yen, 2, 12, 5, 18. Really starting to level out again. So we shall see. But yeah, OPEC is trying to stick it to us. Will not be surprised if there's another headline. There's absolutely zero we can do about it. There's no comment or no action that Biden is going to be able to take. Um, Put it this way: if Biden says something to all of a sudden get prices lower, OPEC is going to respond. At this point, OPEC has the power. They're going to stabilize it. They're going to try to push us above 80. So have fun. All right. With that, I'm out of here. I'm going to go get the boys some food. I will see everybody tomorrow morning, Eastern Standard Time. With that, thank you for joining me today, and I'll see you tomorrow. Take care.